Good evening, good morning, and good day. And thank you so much for once again choosing to spend a little bit of your time with me. In the news today, Onision's dad, swingers, and Onision versus Jeffree Star. Now, before we go any further, I would just like to say a massive thank you to everyone that sent me messages, left me comments. Just, you know who you are, and you know the things you've said, and it's genuinely really helped me. The support has been a bit overwhelming at times, but I am incredibly grateful for it. Truly. I don't have the right words to put it into, but just from the bottom of my heart, thank you. So I'm a little bit late with this one, so we'll get this out of the way first, but Onision's dad has spoken to the media to set the record straight. If you have already heard all of this, then feel free to skip ahead in the video. In late 2019, Deborah Daniels' older stepdaughter told her stepmom about some of the YouTube videos she'd been watching. James Jackson, also known as Greg Daniel or on YouTube as Onision, had been accused of sexually grooming underage women, and an FBI investigation may have started. Deborah relayed this information to her husband Randy, who is James's biological father. "It's hard to watch and hear about all this stuff involving your son," Randy told Newsweek. "It's hard to talk about second-guessing if I could have done anything differently, and just wish that things were very different than they are right now. It pains me that this kid has made such a mess of his life." Randy and Deborah haven't spoken to James in over a decade. They watched him transform from a bright child to a moody teenager, but have been fearful about speaking up. "You know, what Greg has done to people who have come out and spoken against him," Deborah said. "He's bullied them and harassed them for, a year or more. I don't know what he's got it that it's okay to treat women that way, or anybody like this, and his fascination with young girls, it's mind-boggling." Randy first met James's mother Tammy while they were attending the same college in Tennessee. They divorced after 8 years and 3 children. Tammy declined to comment for the story and requested that Newsweek not publish her last name. Randy claims he filed a motion which moved the case to Indiana and was eventually allowed to see his kids for 6 weeks every summer and called them on Sundays. He says he kept all the documents from the divorce in case his kids ever want to see what happened. "I felt completely beat down and ended up leaving my job in Indiana as a pastor, moved to Ohio. About a year and a half after the divorce, Randy met Deborah, and they married in 1991. That first summer that I had them in 1990, I had to drive out there to pick them up. I couldn't afford the plane ticket and just started a new job, so I drove all the way out to Washington State to get them and drove all the way back with them. We had a rental house, visited Kings Island, and bought toys for them and used bicycles. We spent as much time with them as we could. I really don't know a lot of things about Greg, but as a young child he was the sweetest boy," Deborah recalls. "Oh my goodness, just a normal boy that likes to play. There were times when we first got married that Randy wanted to live up, and I said, no, whatever those children decide, you are going to have to look in the mirror and say I fought for those children. We fought to have a relationship with them. We fought to have a good influence in their lives." Over the next few years, contact was sporadic, though they sent Christmas and birthday presents when possible. When James was 17, he came to live with Randy and Deborah. They say he was a difficult teenager who didn't want to follow any rules. "I told our neighbour, if you see anything strange going on in the house, call the police, because Greg was getting so out of control. Greg threatened to burn down the house a couple of times when he was going off on some of his tangents. Whenever he would get angry and start yelling and cursing and calling us all sort of names, it was just kind of escalating, and so I was afraid that there would be a physical altercation, and that's why I called the police. I told the officers, look, I need help. Can you explain to Greg that he has to listen to his parents and can't do whatever he wants?" Still, Randy and Deborah tried to support and encourage James. "The kid was so promising. When we had custody of him, we were trying to encourage him because at that point he had started coming up with the whole Onision thing. We offered to send him to LA Film School to get some additional training, but he was just too smart for everyone." That does sound like our dear old Onision there, doesn't it? You seen that? It was a tweet he did. I'm not going to bother finding it. He's just like, "I'm too smart for everyone. I've outsmarted everyone. They've all fallen for my puppeteering." And it's just, oh, dude. You're not the Joker. You don't even look like Heath Ledger Joker when you try it. You don't look good when you try it either. Stop thinking you're some super sexy, psycho, super villain, nutjob narcissist, because all you are is a pathetic little pleb. Ugh. During a road trip to Nashville, he was listening to his music and had it up very, very loud, even though he said he's listening to his headphones. I said, "Greg, please turn your music down," and he wouldn't do it. So I pulled off on the exit, I stopped, turned around and said, "Greg, turn your music down, it's way too loud." And that's when he went off. He started screaming and was just going to bolt. He was going to leave. So I turned around, unbuckled my seatbelt and tried to reach and grab his shoulders to keep him from leaving. There he was trying to untie his shoes and he was kicking at me, broke my glasses and bloodied my nose. Just interesting series of events there. Fascinating. Is that the time that Onision's spoken about of in his book, where he apparently like beat his dad up? It was like kicking him, and it just felt so good and manly. I think it might be. I think that's the moment. Passers-by called the police, and James was then taken into custody at a juvenile detention centre. Randy and Deborah hired an attorney to try and work out a settlement to only get him probation. We never saw him take responsibility except that one time when he was behind bars, and we were sitting with him at a table and guards watching him, and that really, it was like it snapped him out of it. He was acting like a normal scared kid at that point. James has shared his version of the story in multiple videos ranging back as far back as 2009, as well as in his book, This Is Why I Hate You. Yes, it is this one. He claims that his father choked him while he was sitting in the back seat of the car and that he was just defending himself. James confirms that he spent time in a juvenile detention centre, but says, "It's very obvious what happened. I called his wife something, he attacked me, and I defended myself." James also claims in the video that Randy went through his journal and computer files. Randy admits to looking through the journal, saying, "We were trying to figure out what was wrong with him. We thought he was on drugs," but denies looking through computer files because James didn't have a computer. We didn't hear from him for a while, and then all of a sudden he calls and says he's getting ready to go into the Air Force. When James married his first wife Sky in 2005, his father and stepmother were not invited to the wedding, but they did spend some time together in Washington State afterwards. Sky declined to comment. The last time we spoke, Greg was assigned to Korea. He was military police and wanted to change to non-combatant with only 3 months left in his tour. We told him that was a horrible idea. Just hang in there and let the military pay your way back. He didn't take my advice. And then a switch flipped in all of our calls and we just can't get a hold of him anymore. But it's not that way. It's just you're ghosted all of a sudden. You have no clue why. We just talked to him last week. What happened? For the next few years, Randy followed the rise of Onision and saw the "I'm a Banana" video go viral, pulling in millions of views on YouTube. Then, James started making the videos about Randy and Deborah. They stopped watching. Randy can't remember the last time he spoke with James and has never seen his grandchildren, but he still wants to have a relationship with his son. This kid did not have horrible abusive parents who were not involved in caring about his life. The record needs to be set straight as far as the role and involvement in his life and what we tried to do for him and his sisters. From Randy, Jackson, Greg, James, Onision, Navarro, Jackson, Noncion, Banana Boys, Dad, madness. Madness. I feel like Chris Hansen's really screwed the pooch with all of this. I don't think he does have a chance of bringing Onision down. He's lost far too much of his own street cred lately by just all sorts of things. I really can't be asked getting into it. But at the end of the day, anyone who can support a man whose first instinct when his daughter falls out of the second-story window and breaks bones and decides to film it, anyone whose first thought in that instance is to film it and not call for an ambulance and try to save your child's life. I mean, what? How does he have fans? How does he have people supporting him? How does he have people that don't give a shit about this? How is that remotely possible? I don't understand. Fuck. Quick interruption, my little loungers. You can now head on over to Subscribestar something Grandad's Lounge. The link's down there. And for the low price of $2 a month, come join a Discord of complete insomniac nutjobs like myself and get the occasional bit of bonus content and some extra thingamajiggies. And in general, just support my freedom of speech and the future of content on this channel. And I'd really, 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 really fucking appreciate it. So if that sounds good to you, link's down there. And that's all. Sponsoring myself now. Next, do we remember these people? I can't remember the show they were on, but they were all over social media and YouTube last year. This very surreal a polygamous relationship where these 4 insanely unattractive men were all happy to be with this, I mean, not body shaming or anything, but I mean, guys, come on, like, what? I know these dorks are very clearly, technically ex-incels because they're getting the poontang now, but cucking yourself to any of those guys, one, and cucking yourself for that woman is... This is why simping exists. This is why there are men that simp, because there are men that do this as well. Anyway, this was all fun and games, and it was a lovely thing to laugh at. And then she got pregnant. She got pregnant with one of them. And, they all said it would be fine. They spoke about jealousy in the past. On the issue of jealousy, Ethan said there are a couple of healthy ways to deal with it. Primarily just talking to each other. They would chat to each other about their jealousy and their issues. This disgusting, dead-eyed, psychopathic little cunt decided to take out his vile, disgusting jealousy and feelings of hatred that he was clearly carrying for these other men on the newborn. A man in a polyamorous relationship that consists of 3 men and 1 woman and was celebrated by the media has now been charged with abusing an infant. I cannot read today. I can't read. The polyamorous relationship, consisting of 4 men and 1 woman, made a splash across several media outlets who attempted to decipher the dynamics of the unorthodox relationship as the woman had become pregnant to one of the men. One of the men in the unconventional relationship, Ethan Balcom, 22 from Jacksonville, was being charged with aggravated child abuse, fracturing the 5-week-old baby's arm, leg, ribs, and skull. This sick, fat, fucking little shit. Do not trust a man if the only way he can get pussy is by cucking himself to 3 other men. That's not a man that I would trust, ever, basically. That's not somebody to trust. If they have that little self-respect, they're probably... I'm just putting it out there. I'm sorry, like, you polyamorous freaks. I'm all about monogamy. I'm all about that shit. You can go fuck... Like, I'm not with that. No. That's not me. Go fuck that shit. Nah. Once in a life threesome, maybe, sure. But fucking... full-blown... polyamorous shit. Nah, mate. No, it doesn't work. Ever. We're not monkeys. Not literally. We may have evolved from them. But we're no longer chimpanzees. Thankfully, the infant will not suffer any permanent damage. Don't know how, but thank fuck. The reporting officer wrote he stated he believed he heard a pop during the occurrence in the heavily redacted report, according to F and J in Jacksonville, who went on to report Balcom is currently behind bars with bail set at 250 grand. I mean, the fact that this sick little shit could get out of bars if somebody coughs up that money until he's tried. Like, what? Oh, that's like... I know people in the comments often get mad at the pet abuse shit, and it's horrific, and I agree that is the lowest of the low, but actually there is a lower still, and that is taking your sadistic jealousy out on... it makes me speechless. What a disgusting little cunt. If somebody doesn't treat him the way he treated that baby in jail, then, there's something wrong with the karma in this world, eh? And now for our third and I cannot speak today. Oh my... And now for our third and final piece of news today. Onision wrote a completely insane thing on his blog about Jeffree Star, and let's have a read of it. Yeah? Hi, for those of you who do not know, I am Onision. I used to be the number 67 most subscribed in all of YouTube, and ever since then I've been falling down the most subscribed YouTubers list right into absolute anonymity, in a way. It's great from the very get-go. It's just pure, unfiltered Onision. I love it. I love it.
So that's fun, but that's also life, and I'm kind of relieved because fame is one of the worst things ever. I didn't like being stopped at the mall, the restaurant, the airport, etc. for people to say, "Oh my god, are you that guy from YouTube?" When you first get recognized, it makes you blush. You're like, whoa, cool, I'm relevant. But after a while, you just want to be left alone. You don't want people looking at you at all. And that's where I am now. I want to be a nobody who makes something, not a somebody who makes nothing.
No, you're a nobody who's made something of himself, Onision. You really are. And that something is nothing good. That's the main issue. But you have made plenty of somethings. Just a whole lot of something shit.
Anyway, this post is about Jeffree Star, because a long time ago a man named Damon Elliott was a friend of mine. I don't think we're friends anymore, considering the last time I talked to him. He said we were friends, but then made plans with me for the 5th time, only to not follow through. Ha! Ha! Such a little shit. I hate him. I hate him. That's LA though. People make plans and don't follow through all the time, because I'm a cool LA celebrity. Had the same issue with numerous people like Shane. People from LA typically say, "Hey, we should hang out soon," or "Let's meet up when you're in town." Then you get in town and nothing. They are nowhere to be found, not responding to your messages, not calling you back. Mind you, I don't call people pretty much ever, but you get the point.
I never get your point, Onision. I really don't. I actually never get the point that you're trying to make.
Anyway, so I met Damon through a girl named Shiloh.
A girl named Shiloh? Oh, God.
I was dating her at the time, and Damon was producing her music. Damon actually gave me housing when Shiloh was taken away by the police back in 2011, when Shiloh...
Oh, fuck you, Onision. Fuck you so much. Seriously, what a cunt. Oh, I hate this so much. And yet I love it too. Like, I just want him to keep writing this shit forever, because this might just be what my YouTube channel is now, sorry.
Really nice of him to hook me up for a few days like he did. He also found me a place I could rent out for a few months with my friend Sear. So Damon and I are hanging out, and he calls up his friend Jeffree Star. This is before Jeffree was huge on YouTube. At that time, Jeffree drove what looked like a pink Scion or some square box-looking car. Damon hyped me up, telling Jeffree we could collab together, and made mention of someone being tied up in a chair as part of a comedy sketch. Jeffree was down to collaborate, so it sounded, and Damon drove me to meet up with him in a recording studio. I don't know what's happening to this voice, but it's getting more and more elaborate as it goes. Once I got to the recording studio, I commented on how I smelled pot. Damon denied it, implying I didn't know what pot smelled like. I'm rarely wrong, and I saw joints in an ashtray inside to confirm my suspicion. They were smoking the devil's reefer. Demon drug, evil marijuana, pot. Evil nasty pot.
Why does he hate weed so much? Bruh, you just need to smoke some weed. It'll fix half your issues. He'll get, like, really baked one day, break down, realizing what a piece of shit he is, and turn himself into the feds. It'll be great. Somebody send Onision some hash brownies.
I'm rarely wrong, and I saw joints in an ashtray inside to confirm my suspicion. I don't think it belonged to Damon. I'm really only commenting on it because weed has bothered me for some time. It really, really irks me. You know, only nincompoops smoke weed.
Ah, that went all over my face. And then this bit is in huge writing. So I suppose I should read it even more emphatically.
Jeffree showed up and Damon left Jeffree and I alone in the recording studio for an extended period of time. The recording studio is very poorly lit, and Jeffree had no makeup from what I could see. What this meant is, you have a guy sitting on a couch in a dark room staring at me with his legs and arms crossed, who happens to have no eyebrows and is incredibly pale-faced. In other words, terrifying.
First time me and Onision agree on anything, Jeffree Star is kind of fucking terrifying.
Jeffree began to speak to me as I paced back and forth on a platform in front of him. The platform I assumed was raised to allow all the electrical wires underneath the recording equipment to remain discreet. Jeffree's statements were all sexually charged. He opened with asking me if I was gay, only he used the F word. He then said that I must like sucking dick, referring to male genitalia, because Onision can't put rude words in his blog. I mean, adults, children, what is this? Who is he writing this for if he can't put rude words in it? Is he writing this for 12-year-olds? What the fuck? Bro, like, you've got adults who watch your shit. Just remember the fucking swear words in your fucking pussy-ass cunt. Oh. For about 5 to 10 minutes, he proceeded to repeating himself, telling me I was gay. I mean, you are gay, Onision, according to yourself, because you like fucking a man at the moment, according to you. That I liked performing sexual acts on men, and an assortment of other sexually charged language. To be clear, he repeated the following assortment of statements once he was alone with me. You probably like sucking dick, don't you? You look like a fucking flaggot. You look like a flaggot. You look like you like sucking dick. You would love sucking dick, wouldn't you? You're such a fucking flaggot.
Is flaggot allowed with an L? Flagging, you know, like flagging it. Let's go flag it. Like pinging it, but flagging it.
Time, I just laughed. I thought it was weird and funny, because we were supposed to do a comedy video together, and I assumed he had a sense of humour. After a short bit, Damon came back in the room, and eventually we all left without collaborating. I had said pretty much nothing to Jeffree the entire time, but he still later tweeted me that it was nice to meet me. Years later, it came to public attention that Jeffree Star had grabbed a straight man's genitals in public on camera. It also came to public attention that Jeffree was particularly interested in straight men, and that got me to thinking.
Wait, is any of that worse than the things you were accused of doing, Onision?
Rah. 1! If I were in Jeffree's position on that couch and it was a woman I spoke to like that, what would people assume? Probably that I wanted to sleep with her. 2! Damon never explained why he left us alone in that room. Damon was seemingly good friends with Jeffree. Jeffree was into straight men, so why was Damon leaving me alone in a room with a man who was into straight men, who was sexually overactive and clearly targeting me? Was I being set up? 3! What would have happened if I said I was? What did Jeffree expect or want from me, and why is this acceptable? Because it's me. But if a woman went through the same with Jeffree, or better yet, someone less popular, society would be outraged.
It's not okay, and society would be outraged if it was anyone other than your lying sack of shit piece of scum butt.
Fuck. So I just wanted to share these thoughts. I still consider Jeffree Star to be terrifying, but I'm not some kind of victim of horrible crime or anything. It was just creepy talk from a gay man, actively sexually degrading me, and who knows what else the moment I was left in a room with him. Wait a minute, have you read your Twitter? Oh my god! Good night, sluts. Wake me up with a blowjob, okay?
Okay, Daddy, love you. I can't wait.
It's literally not gay for me to suck a woman's cock, but if you have a problem with it, keep watching. It gets so much better. Sexually overactively overcharged stuff from a terrifying gay man. That is the definition of your Twitter, buddy.
Maybe he's changed for the better since then, but that's the face I see whenever I think of him. Just some creepy, demonic-looking pale-faced man. saying horrible things to me alone in a dark room. Update. Not long after I released a video talking about my experience with Jeffree, he deleted the tweet he made toward me saying it was nice meeting me, and he blocked me. Shrugs.
A bit warm now. Getting naked. Right. Thank you so much for watching this, guys. If you enjoyed this, please don't forget to smash subscribe and maybe like the video, and definitely drop a comment, because now things are getting a bit more back to normal. I should be replying to some comments again. Not going to promise I'm going to reply to every comment anymore, because I get a lot more than I used to, and that would be hella stressful, which is kind of awesome. But just drop me a comment. You know I read them all, and I'll reply to the ones that I can. And maybe go follow me on Instagram. That would be kind of cool. I'm trying to post on there a little bit more. Kind of hate Twitter, so I think I might delete Twitter and give up on Twitter and just focus on Instagram and YouTube. And an extra special thanks to Yasha Doom, Fruit Shoot, and Brody Reed for being my first subscribe stars. Thank you so much, guys. So if you'd also like to support my channel and me continuing to swear like a drunk motherfucking sailor, then please go ahead and go check out the link in the doobly-doo thingamajiggy down there. Stay safe, take it easy, and I'll catch you in a bit. Peace.